So you want to start a career in sales, but not sure how. You want a job in sales, but not sure which role to go for or which industry to pick. What type of roles should I be searching for when I'm looking for a job in sales as a beginner? Now, if you have those thoughts lingering in your head, then I'm happy to tell you that you're in the right place. Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be sharing with you how you can get yourself started with a career in sales, and actually it might be easier than you think. Personally, I spent 7 years in both SaaS and AdTech sales, and if I were to turn things back, I would still choose the same career over anything else. I wanted to create today's video because I personally wish some information like this was available before I actually got started. So without further ado, let's go! The first key tip before you even start any career in sales, and what will actually make you successful in sales, is to make sure that you have the right motivation and attitude. I think I cannot stress enough, mindset is super duper important in sales. I know for a lot of you out there, your primary motivation is definitely money. I think, you come into this career because you know that there's a potential to basically earn more than perhaps your peers, the same amount of time that you put onto a job. But I need to tell you that money aside, you need to really love the process. Because to sustain and succeed in sales, you really need a lot of persistence, a lot of resilience, and a lot of willingness to learn and pick yourself up along the way. You need to get ready with the fact that with every yes that you get, you're gonna get probably another 5 to 10 no's before getting to that yes, or before closing your very first sale. You need to look at rejections as something that actually challenge you rather than deter you instead. And by that, you will learn to love the process, because as much as sales is about making money, if you look at it, at the very heart of sales is really psychology. It's simple as that, right? It's how you speak to people, how you try to read people, and how you actually convince them to actually buy from you. As someone who's been both an interviewer and interviewee, I can tell you that companies look for these 3 key essential traits in their candidates when they're looking for someone who's looking to fill their junior positions, or when they're looking for a new salesperson. And make sure that you take these down so that whenever you're in the interview, you actually portray and demonstrate how you have these 3 key qualities. And these 3 key qualities are, the first is actually drive. The number 1 thing that all successful salespeople have is really drive and hunger. Like what I mentioned earlier, you really need to have the drive and hunger to succeed. You need to be hungry enough to be really aggressive at times, and you need to be really hungry enough to just keep moving on despite the initial rejections that you might face. The second quality is actually coachability. As we all know, sales is not exactly taught in school. School doesn't really teach you how to sell, how to qualify a prospect, how do you make sure that you communicate the value of your product instead of just talking about, say, the features of your product alone. These are skills that you actually learn on the job. And regardless of whether you're trying to go into real estate sales, tech sales, whatever sales that you're going into, the companies do recognize that these are the things that need to be taught, especially when you're new to the company or new to the industry. So they're really looking for someone who's coachable. And by coachable, I mean, how are they able to receive feedback and then act upon it to then improve on themselves. Third thing is actually the ability to learn itself. How fast can you learn on the job? This is especially true if, let's say, you want to go into a more complex sales jobs that requires you to learn something technical. For example, if you're going into tech sales, you really need to learn about the platform, the benefits and the features. And one thing that you need to know in tech companies, the products always evolve, and really they want to look for someone who can really think on their feet and really learn very quickly to keep up to date with the trends and the product capabilities as they move along. The second tip that I want to share with you is to pick an area of sales that you want to go into. Every every for-profit business basically have a sales function. And if you want to look at sales, there are two broad key areas of sales. There is a B2B sales and there is also a B2C sales. What is B2B sales? B2B sales essentially means business to business sales. So when you work for that company, you're representing that company to sell into other businesses. The other type of sales is called B2C sales, and the name actually stands for business to consumer sales. So when you're actually in B2C sales, you're selling directly to the end consumer itself. So some examples in this area of sales would be things like your real estate sales, for example. Retail sales is one of them, and also insurance sales, for example. Or if you're someone owning a business and you are knocking door to door from houses to houses selling, let's say, your pool cleaning services, these are actually called B2C sales. So it really depends which area you want to go into, and then you might want to look from there. Personally, I actually came from two types of sales. I had experience in ad tech sales, which is advertising technology, and also software as a service sales, which is called SaaS sales. So let me explain a little bit in case you're interested in either of one of them, right? So advertising technology companies, first, who are they? I would say people like your Google, your Facebook, your TikTok. A huge part of their business actually comes from ad sales, meaning where advertisers actually park their budgets with these platforms to run their advertisements to get new customers. So I was part of that sales team. I was working with advertisers who are other businesses and getting them to basically invest their budget into the platform that I was actually representing. And I would say this role is pretty fun. If you work for, let's say, Google and Facebook, it's really cool. It's a cool name to have on your resume. It's fun. You really have a lot of learning opportunities as well. The next part is basically software as a service business. There are really a lot of software as a service businesses out there. Some of the well-known ones include, names such as like Salesforce, Microsoft, Oracle, I would say things like Stripe even. And for software as a service companies, they basically sell based on annual subscription. So as a salesperson, what you do is when you're actually selling to, for example, company A, you're actually signing an annual contract with this company A to make sure that company A actually uses your product or service on an annual basis. And I would say the most sensible way to get started, if you want to get started in, let's say, software as a service business, is to really enter as a sales development rep. So when you're actually as an SDR, you will get to learn the key essential, I would say, skills that a salesperson needs, right? Typically SDRs, they sell through the phone, and most of their KPIs only involve setting appointments for the account executives or the more senior salespeople to actually follow up and pitch to. But this is a very, very good training ground for you to learn to prospect. And prospecting is where you try to get new leads interested into your business and get them warmed up, in the sense where you get people who don't even know about your business actually get interested and want to speak and meet with you and potentially actually buy into your business or service. And through prospecting itself, you learn things like where do you gonna find your customers, how do you even speak to your customers, how do you know what your ideal customer is, and how do you actually handle rejections? Because if you can't even get someone to meet with you, how are you gonna even get them to actually buy your product? So this is really a good training ground, and this will give you the foundation and basics that you need to further advance your career in sales. The third tip is, after you've already known which area of sales you want to go into, the next sensible thing that you will want to ask yourself to do is, which products should I choose, or which company should I work for? My personal advice is, at the base of it, choose a product that you're super interested and excited to sell. Choose a product that you genuinely feel that it's gonna value add to your customer. You're gonna be more excited to learn about the product. If one thing that I've observed, and for myself as well, what has really made me successful, or what other salespeople are successful, is really the thirst to learn, right? The drive to keep learning, not only how to do your craft better, how to upgrade your own skills, but also how well you actually understand your product. And second, when you're selling something that you actually believe in, you actually carry yourself in a whole different way. Customers nowadays are very savvy. Before the prospect even probably say yes to you, they probably would have done their own research. And to me, nowadays it's so easy to even sense a salesperson who's just trying to sell you something versus a salesperson who's actually trying to provide you real value from like a mile away. You know, please do not be the snake oil salesman who's trying to sell without really uncovering the value that it provides to the customers. You're not gonna get far with that, trust me. When you're actually looking for a sales role, you might be wondering where to basically look. Now, the best place to look at is really what I would do is go on LinkedIn and basically filter for sales jobs and filter for entry level as well. And then it will give me all the list of companies that are actually hiring. And then you can actually apply from there. Some of the roles that you really want to look at is things like sales development reps, business development representatives. There are some actually sales executive positions that actually hire for fresh grads as well. So you might want to look into that. The other thing that I would even go into doing is just within the vertical, right? Let's say if you want to work for a software as a service company in the, you know, customer relationship management segment, for example, or sub vertical, you can just quickly Google top 10 companies within this vertical, and you look at the companies, go into each individual websites and look for any sales positions that are actually open in those companies, and you know, start applying. I hope you found today's video helpful, and if you're still wondering if sales is the right career for you, or you want to understand a little bit, you know, from someone who has been through sales, how do they feel and or what the career prospects actually look like, you can click on my link down below, sign up in the form, and what you can get at the end of it is a 15-minute free consultation call with me where I can go through with you kind of like what you're currently stuck with and figure out with you, you know, if sales is actually the right career for you. Me a line in the link below, and I am more than happy to share with you. Mind you, this call is only dedicated to the first 5 people who click on the link, so you better click it now. Thank you for tuning in this week. If you like my content, please do hit the like button, and if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.